Have you ever felt so bored or stagnant, or you feel like you're not growing in your leadership or with your personal life? Well, there are many ways to grow your capacity. Today, we're just going to take a look at a simple way to begin doing that. And this has to do with our spiritual and mental gauge. Hey everyone, Sheldon Laxina here. It is so good to see you. Today we're going to take a look at a way for us to learn how to increase our capacity. There are many ways to expand your capacity, which means to increase in your personal growth, maybe as a parent, just as a person, maybe even increasing your leadership skills, your people skills. But this is just a small way to begin the process of how to get better at certain things. Of course, there are many ways, but this is just one simple way. And here's a simple way to increase your capacity. It's learning something new. When you're learning something new, you're able to ask questions. There are certain things that we have never learned before that will spark new neurons in our minds to begin functioning or to develop new neurons. When you learn something new, you're going to develop a new perspective. And that's what today is all about. We're going to visit Hokulea, and I'll explain a little bit. We're going to take a look at two areas: our spiritual and mental capacity. And we take a look at these four gauges: our spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental gauge. What that means is, just like the dashboard to your car, you're able to see how you're doing with your car, with your gas gauge, your oil gauge, your speedometer, all the different gauges to let you know the condition of your car. And these four gauges, your spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental gauge, those four gauges helps us to gauge how we're doing in life. So today we're going to take a look at our spiritual and mental gauge. And while we were on Hokulea, we were able to learn about those two areas. In fact, I like using real life situations to talk about certain things like our spiritual and mental gauge. And because we gain more by life experiences. So that's why I like showing it in a video format or a vlog format, because we can just talk, but I like showing. So let's watch. So we are going to visit Hokulea. So let me just read a little bit about the history of Hokulea. So on March 8th, 1975, Hokulea, a performance-accurate deep-sea voyage canoe,
because of her,
built in the tradition of ancient Hawaiian va'a kaulua, which is a double-hulled canoe, was launched from the sacred shores of Hakipu'u Kualoa in Kaneohe Bay on the island of Oahu. And she was designed by artist and historian Herb Kawainui Kane, one of the founders of the Polynesian Voyaging Society, which I'll put their website and you can go and visit. The canoe was named Hokulea, which means Star of Gladness, a zenith star of Hawaii, which appeared to him growing ever brightly in a dream. And this launching was one of many events that marked a generation of renewal of Hawaii's indigenous people. Along with the renewal of voyaging and navigation, voyaging and navigation traditions came a renewal of Hawaiian language, dance, chant, and many other expressions of Hawaiian culture.
Cool.
Trying to commentate as well as read this. But the renewal represented a newfound respect and appreciation for Hawaiian culture by all of Hawaii's people. For the Hawaiian people, it has meant that they once again have begun to feel proud of who they are and where they come from. So that's the kitchen, but that's basically a little bit of the history. And being on board Hokulea is amazing because she goes around the world, and there's a route that she goes, and different captains captain different legs of the journey. But it's amazing that they're out at sea for that long. I forget how many months. They have solar panels on it, so they also use technology of today on board. And it was just a beautiful evening. The sun was setting, so it was just perfect conditions. So that's my brother-in-law Kalani. That's my wife Heidi, and he was just showing how they steer the boat or the canoe.
One Maui. One Maui.
So this is how it
Yeah, this guy, he knows what he's doing.
It's crazy. This thing is huge.
And if you visit the website, you'll be able to see the specs of Hokulea. So I was trying to video as well as, move the paddle.
I use my body.
Oh. One time.
Hold my hip back.
He uses his body and his hip.
I use my body and hip. I'm gonna fly off.
Kapuna keiki. I believe that means kapuna keiki.
Yeah. Is that this right here? Oh, okay.
Like, not an area for children, or stay away, or so Eddie Cow. If you read the story, I might put a link for that too. Basically, what happened in 1978, Hokulea capsized off the coast of Lanai, and one of the crew members, Eddie Cow, paddled to get help, and that was the last he was seen. So that plaque always reminds them that a friend lays down his life for another. And the reason why today on this vlog is both mental and spiritual is the mental part is learning new things about Hokulea, as well as what it takes to voyage around the world and the history of Hokulea, but also the spiritual side. Some liken Eddie Cow to what Jesus did.
Tour the Hokulea, and she goes around the world. So there's a voyage and a route that she goes. And Kalani, who I was just talking to, my brother-in-law, he captains this on different legs of the voyage. So thanks for letting us go on the Hokulea. That was so good.
So then we gather as family, and then we eat together, pule or pray. And then we just hang out, talk story. But the spiritual side is they liken what Eddie Cow did for the crew, like what Jesus did for the world, that Jesus went to the cross and saved us from eternal separation from God. So that's the spiritual side that we get to learn today, that there is a God who loved us enough to send his one and only Son to give us salvation so that we could have that friendship with God again. Then, of course, I had to run later. I showed this because I wear a headband and I didn't use all of my gear, but I look goofy, but that's okay. So long as I get to work out, I think I did a quick 2 miles and that was it. It allows me some downtime and it clears my thoughts, because throughout the day, sometimes our thoughts can crowd our mind and weigh upon us, and it can become heavy. So running clears my mind. It's also a way for me to focus and get ready for the next day or the day of. So that's why I ran, and it thins my blood so that the small little capillaries in my mind can get oxygen from the blood. So there's a whole process through it, but that's the spiritual and mental gauge today. I wanted to encourage you with that. Find ways to build yourself spiritually, or to fill yourself spiritually as well as mentally. Learn new things. That's a way to increase your capacity, whether it be your leadership, being a father, a mother, just being a person, business owner, a student. It just increases your capacity because you're learning new things. Please comment what your thoughts are when it comes to your spiritual growth and your mental growth, or how you increase your capacity. And together we can learn in these areas. But today it was spiritual and mental. Hit the notification button after you subscribe, because that will help you to know when I post new content. And hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Give me feedback if you need to, or if you want to, give me some feedback so that we can learn together. Okay? So just wanted to share this with you. Keep encouraging one another, stay motivated, never stop learning, and always stay creative.